All right, let's just jump right into it. We're about to explore one of the most baffling, most reality-bending ideas in all of physics. Seriously, it's a phenomenon that literally powers our sun. It makes modern electronics possible, and, it sounds like it was ripped straight out of a comic book. So, welcome to the universe's greatest magic trick, quantum tunneling.
To really wrap our heads around this, let's start with a question that sounds impossible. How can you walk through a solid wall? The immediate answer is you can't, right? You're solid, the wall's solid. If you run into it, you're going to bounce off. That's the end of the story. But what if I told you that on the tiniest scales of the universe, that's not the end of the story at all? And this is what we're talking about, quantum tunneling. See, in our big everyday world, a ball needs enough energy to get over a hill. But in the quantum realm, a particle can sometimes just appear on the other side, like it just tunneled straight through. It's a place where the rules we live by get thrown out the window, and the impossible, well, it happens. So, let's frame this right, because this isn't just some weird little quirk of physics. This is a massive enigma, a truly impossible act that is happening constantly, all around us, all the time. And this is the absolute key here. Quantum tunneling is not just a theory. Scientists see it happening. It's how fusion works inside stars, including our sun. Without tunneling, the sun wouldn't shine. So we can observe it, we can measure its effects, we even rely on it. But we can't give you a step-by-step explanation of how the particle actually makes the trip. And that right there, that's the heart of the problem. This isn't just some minor detail we're missing. It's a fundamental, gaping hole in our understanding of reality. It's the missing why at the very core of physics. This quote from our source material just says it all perfectly. A machinery-driven explanation. What that really means is a nuts and bolts cause and effect model. Like, first this happens, then this happens. We have the math to predict the chances of it happening, but we can't actually describe the journey itself. It's like our physics playbook is missing a really, really important page.
When your tools can't solve a problem, you have to wonder, maybe the problem isn't the tools. Maybe the problem is the entire blueprint you're working from. What if the reason we can't explain tunneling is because our most basic ideas of what a particle and a barrier even are just plain wrong?
So let's go down that rabbit hole. Let's explore this radical new idea, because this is where the source material proposes a completely different way of looking at the universe, a whole new blueprint for reality.
The idea kicks off with this. Forget everything you picture about empty space with little bits of matter floating around in it. Instead, I want you to imagine that everything, space, energy, you, me, it's all made from a single, continuous, underlying fabric.
Now here's the kicker. In this view, a particle isn't some separate little thing traveling through the fabric. A particle is the fabric, just twisted up into a complex, energetic knot. It's not a ship sailing on the ocean. It's a wave that's literally made of the ocean itself. So what does a twist in the fabric of reality actually look like? Well, first things first, throw out that image of a tiny solid marble. We're thinking about something way more dynamic and, honestly, way cooler.
And here it is. The source material gives us a visual for this concept, calling it a pseudo-particle. And just look at it. It's not a solid point, is it? It's this complex, vibrant, resonating ball of energy, a localized disturbance, a ripple in the fabric of reality.
Yeah, the source calls them resonance carrier balls. And the big idea here is that they aren't separate objects at all. They're made from the fabric itself. The best way to think about them is as these incredibly complex standing waves. Like when you pluck a guitar string and it vibrates in a set pattern? It's kind of like that, but in 3 dimensions and woven from the very stuff of existence.
Okay, so we've got this wild new blueprint. Reality is a fabric. Particles are waves in that fabric. So what? How does this solve our original mystery? How does this let an electron walk through a wall?
Well, this is where the shift in thinking becomes so brilliant. The old view is just a collision, right? A marble hitting a brick wall. It's either going to smash through or it's going to bounce off. But with this new idea, it's not a collision at all. It's an interaction. It's like what happens when 2 waves in a pond meet each other.
And look how this just changes everything. So a particle wave comes up to a barrier wave, but since they're both just patterns in the exact same fabric, they can interact, they can overlap, and for just a moment, the fabric itself can simply reshape, allowing that particle wave to just reform on the other side. So there it is, the big reveal. Nothing actually tunneled, nothing teleported, no laws of physics were broken. The magic trick was an illusion.
There was no solid particle and no solid wall to begin with. It was just the fabric of reality itself, just momentarily rearranging its own pattern.
Let's look at that visualization again. These forms you see interacting here, they represent two of these pseudoparticles. See, they're not bouncing off each other like billiard balls. They can merge, their patterns can interfere with each other, and they can pass right through one another. Why? Because they're all part of the same continuous medium.
Now hold on. Is this fabric model the final, definitive, case-closed answer to quantum tunneling? Well, not yet. It's really important to get that this is a speculative model. It's an incredibly powerful and intuitive idea for sure, but it's an idea that's still being developed.
And the source material is very upfront about this. It says we have this really compelling concept, the fabric and its waves, but the huge next step is to find the precise mathematical structure. The exact shape of these waves for particles like electrons that we know can tunnel. The heavy lifting, the math, that work isn't done yet.
And all of this leaves us with just a fascinating, massive question to think about. This model is asking us to completely flip our most basic perception of the universe. Is it really a giant empty box that's just filled with a bunch of tiny, separate things? Or is it something much stranger, much more unified, one single interconnected fabric, constantly twisting and turning itself into the beautiful, complex illusion that we call reality?